Hey everybody, Luke here. I've got my first game against the new High Elves. I'm playing this one down at Source Comics and Games, Minneapolis. It's a pretty fantastic store. It doesn't do a lot of Warhammer. They don't really run any tournaments or anything like that. It kind of sucks. And it's right by my house too, which is great for getting Warhammer, but kind of sucks for playing. But I found a group of guys who, the Lords of War, they play. They go to tournaments. So hopefully I can get some more games in with them and, you know, kind of get some more experience. I love playing at the store. Really close to the house. It's fantastic. So anyway, this is the first game against the new High Elves. The book's only been out for, gosh, less than a week now. Everyone's screaming about things like the Banner of the World Dragon. People are freaking out about this. They're thinking this is pretty great. In general, so far, the general sense is that it's a pretty balanced book. That's what I'm hearing from people. I don't like all this ward save stuff, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, we have a 2,400 point game. Here's what the board is. My opponent actually was down at Adepticon, and he wanted to try one of those same scenarios. So what we're doing is doing like this modified watchtower, the little tower in the middle there. Whoever has the most fortitude in there at the end of the game will gain, I think, like 500 victory points or something. So here's what he's running. He's got 5 Reavers, and actually, you know, I should point out, I've got a new tool. I can actually circle, I can do some drawings, I can draw boobs on the screen. So I think this is going to be pretty great. We'll see how this works. Let me know if you guys like this new format. I'm able to do this on the iPad, so gosh, this could be pretty cool. Anyway, he's got 5 Reavers. He's got an Eagle, circle right back there. He's got 3 Repeater Bolt Throwers on the hill. Then he's got, I've marked 6 Dragon Princes down. He's having to proxy a lot of things. I feel like it's 6. It might actually be 7 and a BSB. It might be a total of 8, but he's got Dragon Princes and a BSB in there. Then this block right here, he's got a bunch of Phoenix Guard and is level 2 with high magic in there. Level 2 has the Dispel Scroll. I don't know this at the start of the game, though. Then on this side here, next to his Phoenix Guard, he's got a big block of Sea Guard, and he's got a Lore Master in there. Now, if you're not familiar with the new Lore Master, he's a level 2 Lord. He knows every spell, every signature spell across all the lores. So you get things like Miasma, Wizard's Wild Form, just fantastic things. This guy could be great. Now, he threw the Book of Hoth on him. The Book of Hoth is a new magic item. Well, it's an old magic item, but they've redone it. That will allow him to reroll any 1 die anytime this guy dispels or casts, as long as it's not a 6. So basically, he can 1 dice and 2 dice things pretty well and generally know he's going to get them. So that's what he's rocking on there. His level 2 knows high magic and only has 2 spells. He's got the, I think it's Apotheosis. I can't remember the actual name. The one that heals a character. And then he's got the Soul Quench, the one that's a 2d6 strength 4 magic missile, or you can juice it up to 4d6, which is pretty great. He's rocking both of those, and the lore attribute will increase the ward save on the Phoenix Guard, and so those will go from 4 up to 3 up. That's pretty fantastic. Over on this flank, he's got 5 Reavers over here. He's got an Eagle. He's using a lot of proxies, so obviously you can tell there's 1 Reaver in the back there on a tray. That's 5. He's got 2 groups of Shadow Warriors right here. Now, those Shadow Warriors will not be there. This is before he actually finished placing them. One's going to be there. The other's going to be on this side of the screen. So here we go. Here's that group of Shadow Warriors. They end up over here, and they're going to go into the building first turn. And then here's the other group of Shadow Warriors where he ends up right there, scouting in. Now, he can't get within 12. I knew he was going to have these, so I didn't give him a lot of room to get closer to me. So here's what I brought. I've got Boar Boys, a Boar Chariot. This down here is actually a Spear Chukka. I ended up having a proxy one. Then I've got, this is a forest down here. In fact, I didn't even really talk about the terrain. This is just a normal building up here. The forest is down here. It's a normal forest. So I've got a Mangler in there. I kind of ran out of deployment room, so he's in there. Hopefully he won't fail dangerous terrain. I've got an Arachnarok and another Mangler here. Oh yeah, I mentioned I've got 2 Manglers. Spear Chukka down here. I've got 25 Black Orcs rocking in here. No ban or anything on them. This is 2,400 points, so it's kind of tight for points. Doom Diver on the back. Then I've got my big block of 22 Savages with a Black Orc BSB. I'm sick of failing Animosity. And my level 4 Savage Orc Shaman. Next to them, I have a big bus of Night Goblins, followed by a Boar Chariot, a second Spear Chukka, and some Wolf Riders. Now, this is after Vanguard already. We couldn't really get closer to each other, so I'm just trying to block the Shadow Warriors from getting to the Spear Chukka. It's High Elf turn 1. Basically, he deploys first, so he gets a +1 to go first, and he ends up winning the roll by 1. So he goes. The Shadow Warriors move into the building, as you can see. His Eagle moves up, and the Reavers swift reform as they're running. and they go 3 wide to fit on the other side of the building. Over here, the Dragon Princes move up just ever so slightly. He does not want to get to me. He's got shooting, and he wants to use it. The Reavers move up, as you can see there, and then his Eagle, which is, I think, a hung troll on a noose, moves up just to kind of be in front of guys and have some options. He can't charge because he's vanguarded with his Shadow Warriors, so they sit there. The Eagle just moves up. All right, during Magic, it's 12 dice to 7. He starts off my very first High Elf Magic phase with boxcars. It's like, oh. But I channel 1, so it's 12 to 7. He throws 2 dice at Earthblood, and he puts that on his own caster's unit. I let that go. Who cares if they got regen right now? This is his Lore Master doing this, so he's just going to walk right down all the signature spells. Then he throws 2 dice at Fireball on the Savages, and I let that go. Big deal. You know, it only hit a couple, killed a couple. Then he casts Shem's Burning Gaze on my Ragnarok. He throws 4 dice at it, and I throw 5, and he ends up just squeaking it by, even though I'm a level 4. Just rolled poorly. 2 wounds get through, and then I dispel Melkoths on the Black Orcs. So we go into shooting. His Shadow Warriors throw 3 wounds out, and I save all of them on the Wolves. But his Reavers manage to squeak 1 by my armor save, land 2 wounds, and I armor save 1, and so one of the Wolves dies. All the shots over here on the Boar Boys from the building and from the Reavers bounce off their armor, so no wounds there. It's pretty fantastic. And that's kind of the theme of the High Elf shooting. You know, a lot hits, a lot gets through, or a couple get through, and then you armor save most of them if you have armor. All 3 repeater bolt throwers let loose in the Black Orcs. Now, he kind of agonized about this if he should go after the Arachnarok. And we talked it, you know, on the Arachnarok, he would land 2, he would do a wound on 1, and that would multiply to D3. It thing has 8 wounds, so he decided to go for the Black Orcs, and only ended up killing 4, and that was with the repeater, so he had a ton of shots. I ended up getting kind of lucky there. Orcs and Goblins 1, everything raises up as you can see. On the right side, I fail a charge here going into the Reavers. It was like I needed an 8 on Swift Stride, so it was better than 50-50, and I just didn't do well, so I just kind of bumble up a little bit there. Both Manglers go up, as you can see, and the Arachnarok goes up. I really wanted to try a Swift Stride charge to get into those Dragon Princes, tie them up, and then. But my initial plan was to, if I could make that charge and they come a little bit further, I was going to make a charge, get into the Dragon Princes, and then run both of these Manglers right into the Spider's ass. That would bounce him through the Dragon Princes and through his lines. But he didn't come close enough. I was going to need like an 11 or 10 on 3d6. It just wasn't worth it, so I moved everyone out. All right, I just kind of move up in the middle, as you can see. I kind of want to watch this watchtower here, but that's how it's going. My Wolves make a charge into his Eagle, and he decides to hold, so they're sitting right there. They're going to be locked in combat. And then I kind of don't have anyone to charge. Don't really know what to do with this chariot down there, but he kind of just repositions a little bit. He moves up a little bit more than you see in that picture. So we go into Magic. It's 5 dice to 3, so I don't have a commanding lead. I throw all 5 dice at foot, and I put them on his Dragon Princes. I don't have a picture. I ended up scoring 3 wounds on the Dragon Princes. I think I failed to wound on like 1 or 2 of them. I forget. But I get 3 wounds through. He ward saves 1 of them, so 2 of them die. I end up killing 2 Dragon Princes. It's a pretty big deal, so I feel good about that. But then I roll a 1, because this was the juiced up version. He gets to stomp again, and he gets to place it. Direct hit on the Savages. 15 hits, and 9 wounds on the Savages. Ugh. You know, you got to help out these High Elves with their pew-pew. They're going to be shooting all day. If they're not doing good in 1 round, you just help them out. You just have Gork stomp on them. It'll be fantastic. During shooting, Spear Chucker kills 1 Reaver. Doesn't really have a lot of good targets to go after, but I end up killing 1. The Doom Diver kills 2 Dragon Princes, which is fantastic with no armor saves there, baby, and only a 6-up ward. My second Spear Chucker explodes, and my third Spear Chucker takes aim at the BSB in the Dragon Princes, who does not get a lookout sir anymore, but I failed to, or I just missed completely. Over here, unexpectedly, my Wolves win combat. I mean, we kind of both thought it was unexpected. But I don't know, I had a lot of attacks. He only had 2 attacks. I win combat and I overrun and get into the Reavers, which is pretty great. We go to High Elf turn 2. The Dragon Princes decide to charge into the Ragnarok, and I kind of questioned that, and he goes, no, we're going to win that. Trust me, I got my BSB in there, and these are Dragon Princes, we're going to win. And I'm like, God, I got 8 wounds. I got only 2 on me. You better do them. He's like, no, we'll do them. So we kind of went back and forth on this. He felt confident. Over here, the eagle just decides to land right on the mangler to kill it. We initially took a panic test on those orc boys, and I failed and ran off the board. And then we went back and looked at it and realized, you know what, this is a goblin unit. The way that there is no real rule that determines that it's a goblin unit. It's unique. But we looked at it, and we looked it up on the forums and stuff, and basically, just like the Ragnarok, they talk about Goblin Crew on the Mangler as well, and because it's Goblin Crew that's in there, it's pretty much universally ruled, from what we could tell, looking it up in a few places, that this would not trigger a panic in Orcs, because Orcs don't care about Goblins. So we put him back on the board, and I'm down 1 Mangler, but I still have my boar boys. He moves his Reaver around the building. He brings him back over here. During Magic, it's 8 dice to 7. I've still got a Dispel Scroll left because I haven't panicked my Night Goblins yet, so he throws 4 dice at Spirit Leech on my General. He gets a high roll. I throw that Dispel Scroll. Now it's my 6 dice to his 4. He throws 4 dice at Soul Quench, the bigger version on the Savages, and fails to go off. During shooting, the Repeater Bolt Thrower opens up on one of the Manglers, and that's off. That's right there. You can see it just blew up that Mangler right there. The other bolt thrower goes at the Black Orcs there and does 2 wounds. In other shooting, the Shadow Warriors fail to hurt the Boar Boys with their puny little bows. The Reavers also fail to wound them. They're landing a couple wounds, but I'm just armor saving them. 1 bolt thrower opens up and kills 2, unfortunately, which panics them. They run right through the Chariot. The Chariot makes its panic test, and then, but these guys are running, and I realize I clipped the forest and failed dangerous terrain and lose 1 boar boy. Very sad. During close combat, I fail Fear. His elf kills 1 of my dudes, and 3 wounds get landed by his horses, which I armor save all of them. I end up punking a few of them back, winning by 1, and he sticks. So I did not expect to do that well against him, but I actually won, and he stuck around. Down here, the Shadow Warriors kill the Spear Chukka and overrun. Now, this is pretty nice for me. He overruns and overruns to right about here, at which point, look I got Fanatics. I sent 2 Fanatics out. 1 of them bounces through the unit. It does a few wounds, not enough to panic them. The other one stops right in front of him here. And he still has to continue his overrun, so he ends up running on him, doing double the wounds, blowing himself to hell. He didn't remember that I had Fanatics. It was pretty fantastic for me. In the Spider combat, I only take 2 wounds from him, believe it or not. So I'm sitting at 4 now. I'm only halfway dead. Spider opens up, kills every other single Dragon Prince, no problem. Even I think maybe the Goblins might have actually got one. It was pretty great. Now I'm stuck in combat with his BSB a little bit, and I reform just so that I'm in combat, so now I can bring some Black Orcs in. Which is exactly what I do. Go to Orcs turn 2, the Black Orcs charge. Otherwise, this is pretty much the picture I have for most of my turn. Everyone else just kind of moves up here, as you can see, just getting ready to start advancing. So on my turn, I charge in with the Black Orcs, as you can see right here. Going to go into combat with his BSB. I move everyone else up, as you can see. This is pretty much the only picture I really have of how the turn's going to go. We go into Magic. It's 12 dice to 6. My turn for boxcars. First, I cast Vindictive Glare over here to kind of draw some Dispel dice, maybe do a little damage, and maybe get that lore attribute. He lets it go. I end up killing 1 of these Seaguard here, and end up stealing 1 of his dice from the lore attribute, which is pretty great. So now I think it's like 11 to 5, which is pretty awesome. I end up getting Here We Go off on the Shaman right there, which clips both groups when it goes off. So now we got rerolls all over the place. And then I go for Foot on the Seaguard here because they have a worse ward save, and he throws a Dispel Scroll. Now I find out at this time, I don't remember what point it is, but these guys have Magic Resistance 2 banner, so basically to Foot they have the exact same ward save that the Phoenix Guard next to them would have. They're both going to be hard to hurt. And then he throws all of his dice at my last few dice to dispel Hand of Gork to move my Savages closer. During shooting, my Doom Diver kills, I think, just like 1 or 2 Spearmen. There's not really a ton of juicy targets you can shoot at, since the Phoenix Guard have a 4-up ward. Maybe a 3-up at this time. I can't remember if he got spells off. And my Spear Chukka fails to wound Over here, I think I lose one more if I remember the numbers correctly, but he ends up sticking, so we're stuck in combat here. His BSB whiffs all 3 attacks. That's still only 3 attacks from his BSB. He hits on them all and just fails to wound. So that's pretty good for me. I sink tons of attacks back on him. The first thing we roll is the multi-wounder. It poisons him, so I get right through. He fails his armor save. And I think it was like maybe re-rollable, or he had a little ward save failed. Both, I multiplied it. 6 wounds. I only needed 3 to kill him. I multiplied all 6. That was before all the rest of the attacks. It was awesome. So that worked out really well for me. I'm not sure that I've ever actually killed anyone with that multi-wounding poison attack. So that's fantastic. And then the Black Orcs overrun. I needed about 10 inches to get in with the Phoenix Guard there. That's where I want to be in so they can't get shot up. And I don't make it, so now I'm just going to get shot next turn. But hey, this is going pretty well for me. On his turn, the Reavers just kind of come around like this. As you can see, they're kind of just, they didn't have to worry about any march block issues, and they just come around to kind of be a pest. You only see 1 model there, but there are 5. During Magic, it's 9 dice to 5, so another big phase. He tries to cast Miasma on, I think, maybe 2 dice. One of the dice is a 1, so it doesn't go off. And then he says, hey, look, I've got the Book of Hoth on this Lore Master. He rolls the die again, and the 1 re-rolls to a 1. So that whole thing didn't work for him. That sucked. So now his whole Lore Master is shut down. He only has his High Magic guy with 2 spells. So he's got a bunch of dice left for it. He throws 4d6 Soul Quench, and I end up dispelling it by 1. And then he takes his maybe last remaining die and uses the Ring of Cain, the bound spell, and he throws 2 wounds on the Black Orcs. I armor save 1 of them, so 1 dies. His Reaver friendly breaks my wolf and runs him down, so now he's just kind of sitting here, and my Fanatic's like, oh yeah, baby, come to me. Alright, on my turn, Orcs turn 3, I kind of thought I had to agonize a little bit about what to do here. I ended up deciding to charge the Arachnarok into the first closest Spear Chukka so that I could overrun to the second. That'll keep him getting killed on his turn and stop my Arachnarok from getting shot, and pull 2 of the Bolt Throwers out of being able to shoot next turn. I thought about charging the Black Orcs in, and I really, really worked that out. The Black Orcs are only 9 strong. They're going to get killed. The Savages were not in range to do it, so I just move everyone up and leave them there. Yeah, I'm going to have to weather shooting, but it's better than just having them all die before they even get to go. Chariot moves up, as you can see, on this side, and the other Chariot moves up on the right flank here. So I'm getting ready. If everything goes well, I'll just get to crunch in on them. During Magic, it's 6 dice to 4, and I don't remember, I think I tried to cast, I think I tried for Hand of Gork to move the Savages behind his lines. It was kind of a long roll I was going to need, but regardless what happened, he just dispelled and pretty much ended the phase. So the Arachnarok kills Repeater Bolt Thrower and overruns into the second, like you'd expect. And it's High Elf turn 4. He brings his 5 Reavers into the rear of the Chariot. I decided to hold. He kind of thought I should flee. I said, nah, I think I'm going to do it. I mean, yeah, you'll probably break me, but I don't know. It probably wasn't the right play. I just didn't want to fear through everyone and maybe get a high roll and bounce to the Arachnarok. During Magic, it's 4 dice to 3. He throws his dice, I think all of them, at Soul Quench on the Savages, ends up killing 2 of them. During shooting, the Bolt Thrower, one of the Bolt Throwers goes into the Savages, killing 1. The Shadow Warriors in the building shoots and kills another Savage, and the Sea Guard just lay waste shooting at the Goblins, get like 20 shots, but only end up killing 4. I think I had maybe like 3 armor saves in there. Ended up working out really well for me. His Reaver moves toward the other Doom Diver here, right past my Fanatic, so he's going to go try to eat the Doom Diver. Okay, so it's close combat on his turn. I killed the Repeater Bolt Thrower in his phase and just stopped there. He lands 1 wound on the Chariot and breaks me. I think I killed 1 of his in return, but I didn't get the pig attacks, obviously, because I'm a Chariot in the rear. He breaks me, and I get away pretty far. He rolled pretty poorly, so I get away. I'll get a chance to rally on my turn. Then we go to my turn. I charge everyone in. Charge the Arachnarok into the Repeater Bolt Thrower there up top. I'll get to charge that and then overrun. I charge my Black Orcs and my Savages into the Phoenix Guard. The Savages fail. It was a long charge, but I was fine with going in with just the Black Orcs. I know I'm probably going to lose all of them, but the Spider can help them out. Then I get the Chariot and the Night Goblins into the Sea Guard, and I'm pretty confident about that fight. Over here, my Fanatic comes oh so close to taking out this Reaver. He had a long way to go, too. He was very close. I end up rallying the Chariot, and we go into Magic. It's 6 dice to 6, and really all I'm able to get off is Here We Go, and I was able to get it off on the Black Orcs as well, so they're going to be re-rolling if any of them get to survive. All right, in close combat, I kill the Repeater Bolt Thrown, overrun to the Phoenix Guard. We go into that fight. Now my Spider gets to help out. The Phoenix Guard go and throw all their attacks at the Black Orcs before they can go. They kill them exactly 9. So, they've got halberds, so it helped them quite a bit, and I just got creamed. The Spider does some wounds, but not a ton, and even his Thunderstomp only ended up being like 2. They've got a pretty decent ward save, obviously. It's 4, and I don't remember if it was buffed to 3 at this point. In the Goblin fight, I net them, so they're down in strength. He kills my Goblin hero in a challenge, giving him 3 combat res, and I think I end up taking like 6 wounds from the Sea Guard, and I parried 3 of them, which was fantastic. I ended up winning combat by a decent amount with extra ranks and stuff like that, and broke him out, and he ran off the board, and I restrained with both the Chariot and the Goblins. All right, as you can see here, his Phoenix Guard are now facing the Spider. He was thinking it on the beginning of his turn that he should have reformed them, so I said, just go back, pretend you reformed, no big deal. So now he's going to reform and try to take the Spider out this turn. That's his really only chance here, and that's the board as you can see it. He moves his Reavers just to kind of be out of the charge arc there. So these are the 2 combat, or that's really the only combat that matters. If he can break the Spider, he might have a chance. If not, then he's going to get flanked, and it's going to be bad. Down here, the last Reaver makes it into the Doom Diver, and believe it or not in this combat, he kills one, my other Goblin, not having any of that, kills the Reaver. The Doom Diver survives in close combat. It was brilliant. And here, you can see that the game's basically over. He threw all 18 attacks right there at the Spider, hit with every single one, rolled to wound, needing 6s, and all 18 dice, 5 and lower. He made nothing. And we just picked it up at that point. The Spider was going to do a ton of wounds to him, and then on the next turn, he was going to get rear charged and flank charged, and it was going to be crazy. We decided just to go for it. I mean, the objective was down here. I had all the fortitude in the world, and because we had gone for it, that's why I threw the Black Orcs in. Didn't really worry about the objective. I already had it for sure. So that was a game. It was interesting to see the High Elves play. It was fun. They had a ton of shooting. It was just painful to have to weather every round. They just kept backing up and shooting. Man, it's going to be crazy. Hopefully the next game I play will have a Phoenix in it. I'm excited to see those. I think they're going to be pretty awesome. I think not having a level 4 is a really big deal, especially when your opponent brings one. The Book of Hoth helps, but it's only on one of the casters, and he had it on his Lore Master. But he had so few spells he could cast. And he had so few spells he could cast, and they were really just improving a ward save on a combat block that already had a fantastic ward save. I'm not sure you need him in a big group of Phoenix Guard like that. It was already something I was considering not dealing with for the entire game. I thought about just not even going in. I'm like, well, who cares? Just get everyone else. But, I mean, that Lore Master was fantastic. He had all the spells in the world. I think this is kind of more of an older style on the list, but who knows? I don't really know much about High Elves, but I don't think you really need to run big blocks like that. I think blocks of 3 ranks with their new martial prowess rule. I think that's really all you're going to need. I don't know. I guess I could see a big block for an anvil, but having 2 like that was kind of an issue. He also talked about that he didn't need both groups of Shadow Warriors. It really didn't do enough. All those bow shots didn't really do much, and I was an aggressive army coming at him. He didn't really have a lot of guys he could go after. I mean, you could tell I just ignored them the whole time with my Toughness 5 Chariot. I didn't even care if he charged me. So that's the game. I scored a win, which is pretty rare for me. It felt pretty good, and it was fun as hell. The guy was a great guy, and hopefully we'll get more battles for you. Thanks a lot, guys.